Good morning to one and all present over here. I'm Srishti Sarkar, master student from MIT Manipal, India, going to present on magnetic properties of centrosymmetric Wiley semimetal, candidate TBAL SI. The flow of the presentation will be like this. Introduction. What is rare earth intermetallics? Rare earth intermetallics are the compounds where rare earth atoms bond with the metallic elements with the well-defined crystal structures. Sorry. With a well-defined crystal structure, with their enhanced properties of metallic, electronic, and magnetic properties. The general compound we have chose here is RAlX, where R is the rare earth, Al is the aluminium, X is silicon and germanium. These compounds are mainly used for their spintronic application and for their anomalous behavior in Hall resistivity with a high resistance. The structure of these materials are divided into two parts, centrosymmetric and non-centrosymmetric, where centrosymmetric gets crystallized in tetragonal structure. These are the elements. And in non-centrosymmetric, they crystallizes in two forms, orthorhombic and tetragonal, where light rare earth crystallizes in tetragonal, while the heavier rare earth crystallizes in orthorhombic structures. This material shows their magnetic transition because of their exchange interaction, where the exchange interaction is a purely electrostatic Coulomb interaction. From this diagram, we can say that A and B are the nucleus of the two neighboring atoms, and 1 and 2 are the electrons of the each, which are where the interaction takes place at the interatomic distance. The exchange interaction is given by this formula E is equals to -2j Si dot Sj, where E is the energy, J is the exchange integral, Si and Sj are the spin vector of electron sites. As we said that it depends on the interatomic distance between the neighboring atom. As the distance decreases, the spins tries to flip and form an anti-parallel alignment. While the distance increases, they forms an parallel alignment. This exchange interaction is further divided into two parts, direct interaction and indirect interaction, where in direct interaction, the lone pair orbitals directly gets overlap, which are observed in iron, nickel and cobalt, while indirect interaction, the lone pair orbitals are deeply buried inside the nucleus. So it is, and conduction electrons are surrounded above them. So the direct interaction is not possible. Here, the rare earth also follows this kind of interaction, which is known as RKKY interaction. In the RKKY interaction, the 4f electron tries to distort the surrounding conduction electron, where one of the conduction electron tries to get aligned with the 4f electron and polarizes the other electrons. So we can say from this that it is not directly interacting, but it's an indirect interaction. The RKKY interaction is given by this formula. J is directly proportional to cos 2kfr upon r cube, where J is the exchange integral, kf is the Fermi vector, and r is the interatomic distance. The interaction is a long-range interaction with an oscillatory dependence on distance, which is known as Friedel oscillation. The Hamiltonian of the system is given by this formula. Depending on the value of kf and r, the exchange between the neighboring moment value is defined on their positive and negative magnitude. From the graph, we can also say as the interatomic distance decreases, we observe an antiferromagnetic ordering, while the distance increases, we observe an ferromagnetic ordering. Motivation. As we said that the light rare earth are mostly studied and explored field, where they have already given the structural, magnetic and specific heat measurements all in the light rare earth. But for heavier rare earth, it's not that visible. But in 2021, Wang et al. Has given a very descriptive analysis on TBLG, where the TBLG crystallizes in a non-centrosymmetric orthorhombic type structure with an antiferromagnetic ordering at 39 Kelvin and a second transition at 7 Kelvin. Similarly, in 2022, Kaiki et al. Also gives the similar kind of information on the crystal growth of TBLG. But in TBL-SI, it was not that visible. In 2004, Pukas et al. Has only given the analysis of the crystal structure as TBL-SI crystallizes in a tetragonal structure. However, there is no report on magnetization on TBL-Si. Methodology. Sample preparation were done by arc melting method. These measurements were carried out as structural studies by XRD, magnetic studies by 7 Tesla SPID VSM, and heat capacity from 9 Tesla PPMS. The home-built arc melting furnace were used for this sample preparation, where the high purity metals were stoichiometrically weighed and placed inside the copper hearth. The copper hearth was loaded inside this arc melting furnace, and we created the vacuum through a vacuum pump, which was further connected to a Pirani gauge, which measured up till 10 to the power minus 3 mbar. After creating the vacuum, we do the purging, where we fill the chamber with the argon gas and again create the vacuum to remove all the atmospheric molecules from the chamber. We'll do this purging for 2 to 3 times, and then we'll try to create an arc by supplying the current through the electrode, where the copper hearth behave as a cathode and the electrode behave as an anode. After this, the titanium chunk will be melted first, just to ensure, as the titanium has this oxygen trapping tendency, so we ensure that the chamber is free of oxygen. Then we'll try to melt our samples. While melting the sample, we check the homogeneity of the sample through flipping the material 2 to 3 times and melting the sample again until it forms an ingot. After forming the ingot was cut through an electrical discharge machine, which works with the principle of current discharge. We try to get the shapes of rod and disc after cutting through the EDM machine. Then a small chunk is crushed and grinded and used for the XRD measurement. A small chunk is used for 7 Tesla SQUID VSM, similarly for 9 Tesla PPMs. 7 Tesla SQUID VSM has a magnetic field up to 7 Tesla. Temperature range is from 1.8 Kelvin to 400 Kelvin, with a magnetic moment sensitivity is 10 to the power minus 8 EMU. This system works with the principle of Faraday's law of electromagnetism. The sample is first mounted in a vibrating rod. After loading the vibrating rod inside the system, as it vibrates, magnetic flux through the pickup coil changes. The instrument squid serve as a sensitive current to voltage conversion, which works in the principle of Josephson junction. Similarly, for 9 Tesla ppms, the magnetic field is from up to 9 Tesla. Temperature range is 1.8 Kelvin to 400 Kelvin. The principle of this system is relaxation calorimetric. The sample is mounted in a measurement puck first. The system is cooled through an helium liquid, and the superconducting magnet generates the different field. The sensors also measures the responses, and it's collected in a multi-view software. Structural analysis of the TBL-Si, where after the XRD measurement, we refine the sample. The profile was matched through the reported value and gives a tetragonal alpha THSI2 type structure with a space group of this, where the goodness of it was 1.5. From the structure analysis, we can also say that the TB is denoted with the orange atoms. Al and Si are in yellow and green color. The Al and Si shares the same site because differentiating their positions were quite difficult. Also, we observe that the TB has a zigzag form of motion. The lattice parameter also confirms the tetragonal structure, and the volume of the unit cell was 239.858 angstrom cube. Study of magnetic transition of TBL-Si. The magnetic measurements were carried out in the 7 Tesla SQUID VSM, where the chi versus T gives an antiferromagnetic ordering at 7.8 Kelvin, with the anomalous behavior at 15 and 18 Kelvin, which was further, this kind of behavior was also reported in S. Gupta et al. By the TB RHSI intermetallic alloy with three transition states. Temperature independent inverse susceptibility follows the Curie-Weiss behavior in the temperature range of 100 to 300 Kelvin. Where the Curie-Weiss fitting was given by this formula, where chi naught is the Curie-Weiss modified Curie-Weiss constant, C is the Curie temperature, T is the absolute temperature, and theta B is the paramagnetic Curie temperature. Where after doing the graphical analysis, we calculated the effective magnetic moment as 8.7 mu B. The paramagnetic Curie temperature also confirms the antiferromagnetic behavior at this Kelvin. And from the MH curve, which was taken at 2 Kelvin, also confirms the antiferromagnetic ordering. The heat capacity measurements were also carried out. The temperature dependent heat capacity shows a broad transition around 18 Kelvin, which is also visible in the magnetization data. To calculate the phonon and electronic contribution, we have used the Debye model, where the Debye temperature is 230 Kelvin. To calculate the magnetic entropy, we subtract the lattice and phonon heat capacity from the total heat capacity, which is given by this formula. Cp is equals to C electronic plus C phonon plus C mag. And as we see from the right graph, the red graph, we can say that the magnetic entropy was calculated with the integration of C mag upon T dt. Conclusion. From the structure analysis, the TBL-Si crystallizes in a tetragonal THSi2 type structure. The antiferromagnetic behavior was occur at 7.8, and the calorimetric measurements gives the Debye temperature is 230 Kelvin. Acknowledgement. I will really like to thank Dr. Arvind Kumar Yogi sir and Dr. Rajiv Rawat sir for giving me this opportunity to handle this UGC DAE CSR indoor facilities and guiding me throughout the journey. Dr. Mamta Divyajan for her support, and to all the research scholars from UGCDAE for their help and constant support throughout the project. These are the references which I have been through, and thank you.
Thank you for the nice talk. There are some questions from the chat. So one is, if you maintain the SI unit, please follow both X and Y axis, your VSM, X, Tesla,
I
SI,
think,
Y.
sorry, I think this is for the last speaker.
Sorry.
It's for last speaker. Yeah, I don't think that there are questions in the chat for Sristi.
Okay. So if anyone have questions?
Sir, can I ask one question? That's fine.
Yes.
Sure. So, just wanted to ask a simple question, basic question. So, what is the difference between an intermetallic and an alloy?
Intermetallic is basically we are making alloy formation of different transition metal with a p group elements, or a rare earth metal with a p group elements.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Have you calculated the magnetic entropy change or adiabatic temperature change? Because as I can see you have calculated only magnetic entropy. So have you calculated for cryogenic magnetocaloric application?
No, not yet, sir.
Okay.